Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Director Cordray. How long have you been the director of the CFPB?
Well, I was first went into that position in January of 2012.
So it'll be 5 years and 3 months, right?
I guess that's right. And time flies when you're having fun.
When we're having fun, it does. And the original intent of the Congress, a bill written by exclusively Democrats in Dodd-Frank, had the intent that the director would serve for how long?
So I wasn't here then. I understand there were some Republicans who supported that bill.
Let's not take my time. This is an easy answer. The answer was they intended that the director serve for 5 years, not 5 years and 3 months, not 6 years and 6 months, but 5 years.
No, I don't think so. That's not what the statute says.
And so when we look at your tenure, you were brought in, and it was found under the Supreme Court that the NLRB recess appointment issue would apply to you as well, so you were brought in unconstitutionally by the president and then were reappointed, which will then give you a time frame to the middle of next year. Is that fair to say?
That's one perspective on the matter, I suppose.
So you weren't appointed unconstitutionally? Is that your position?
Well, I don't know that I've ever been ruled on that, but I would accept that the Noel Canning case is a holding of this U.S. Supreme Court, and we accept it and respect it, certainly, as people do with those holdings.
You're over the 5-year time period, which would give you great cause right now to say, listen, I've done my 5 years. I'm going to comply with the spirit of my party and the intent of the law. I'm going to step down. You've chosen not to do that.
Could I?
No, 1 second. I'll give you a chance to respond. Okay. But as I look at the PHH case, discussing whether the president has the authority to remove you, whether you serve at his pleasure, or if you have to be removed for cause, the CFPB has appealed that case, which means you prefer the standard that you be removed for cause. And my question for you is, would you prefer that the president, and again, we're going to note your political aspirations in Ohio, that we'll walk through the racism, the sexism, we'll walk through the intimidation and the retaliation, all the things that we did on our oversight committee and more, do that very publicly to have you removed for cause? Or do you think it's probably easier to go, I've done my 5 years, I'll step down and go? What's a better way to do this, just for you even, politically? What's the best way?
So to go back to your previous point, I was nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate on a significant bipartisan vote in July of 2013 to serve a 5-year term. That's what the statute provides for, and that's where we are at the moment. The PHH case, as you noted, is pending. It's an interesting constitutional set of arguments that's being presented there, and the court will sort it out.
Director Cordray, I would prefer we do this publicly. You have a rotting agency. And we brought in women and minorities who've talked about the Bureau and how they treat women and African-American women. I'm sorry. I would be happy to have that public conversation because guess what? I think Democrats, even in Ohio, would be aghast at what has happened at the CFPB. I'm going to move on. Do you know do you believe that 25 million people? Do you believe that 25 million people are a lot of people? 25 million people.
I'm sorry. I was trying to respond to you, and I missed your question.
Is 25 million people a pretty good chunk of folks?
25 million people are a pretty good chunk of folks? I would agree with that.
So this side of the aisle in this committee, collectively, we represent 25 million people right here. And as the chairman pointed out, we have sent you subpoenas for years. And you fail to comply with those subpoenas.
So I don't agree with that.
On occasion, when you do comply, you don't certify that you've complied with our requests. Other agencies certify that they've complied with the subpoena that's come from Congress, but not the CFPB. We won't certify compliance.
I don't know what you're referring to. Or
how about Ally? Have you complied with our subpoena in regard to the Ally case that goes back to 2015?
I believe that we have complied with all of your subpoenas.
Have you? Let's talk
if you send us more,
have you complied with our Ally subpoena?
Beg your pardon?
Have you complied with our Ally subpoena?
I believe we have. And
have you certified?
And let me say,
no. Have you certified that you've complied?
Let me say that.
Have you certified that you've complied?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, and I don't know that there's a different.
It's pretty clear. You're an attorney. We have a certification requirement in our subpoena that you certify your compliance. Have you certified to the 25 million people that we represent that you have complied with our subpoena, yes or no?
If that's an issue for you, I'd be glad to discuss
my question is for you, Director. Have you certified your compliance with our subpoena? Because you come in and said, I've complied. Have you certified that compliance?
So
yes
what
or no?
I'll say is, as at the end of last year, we understood.
I'll say is you're dodging.
engaged in
You haven't
discussions.
certified compliance with any of our subpoenas.
Time
No, I understand you're
of the
no longer
gentleman
chair that
has
subcommittee,
expired.
but
Time of the
could I
gentleman
just
has expired.
could I respond for 30 seconds?
A brief response from the
Okay.
director.
My understanding is that in response to that subpoena, we've supplied yet more documents, and we were engaged in discussions with staff. And at the end of last year, staff said that they would engage in further discussions with us, and they thought that would
Blue in the
resolve it.
face of
We heard
discussions.
nothing until this week.
Never compliance.